Dimensions Tech Tip. My name is Jesse. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing our tech tips from our 2016 Rollout event. So we've got 6 of those coming out. I'm going to be kicking this off with my tip. So if you missed that event, you can still get some of the content here. So let's get going. We are going to be creating a small little table here, and before we get started, one thing that I want to mention is that I have this set as a weldment already. Now I know that I'm going to be creating a multi-body part out of this in the end run, so I've set this to be a weldment already, and again you can do that right off your Weldments tab. What that does for me is it will turn off my merge result by default. So if I go make something that's face-to-face touching, it won't get rolled together, or I won't have to go check the box off manually. So what we're going to start with is to create a little tabletop for this. I've got a little block that just sort of roughs out the area that the base is going to take up when this is complete, and we'll start with the top area and we'll work our way around. So I'll start a sketch on the top of this block, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset the edges here. Now typically when we do this, we would select the face and hit offset entities. I want to do one at a time, so I'll actually leave some gaps in there for the sake of this example. So we'll come in here, we'll select one of the edges, and I'll offset this. We'll bring these out by say 2 inches. One quick tip, don't forget you can hit enter to bring up the last command. So if you do need to do something several times, you can do that very quickly. Now I don't need these dimensions in here, actually. We're going to move things around anyhow, so I'll just delete these right off the bat. Now what we've left ourselves with is kind of this triangular shape, and we've got some gaps in here. Now what I want to do is I want to actually put some radius segments in here. Now, there's a couple ways we could do that. We could use the tangent arc to get those in there, or we could use the sketch fillet. Now most of the time when you're thinking about filleting entities, you would trim these back together, extend them back together, and then you'd go back and fillet the corner. And that's actually not necessary. If we grab the sketch fillet tool, you can see that the sketch fillet tool will actually do some of that trimming work for you. So you can see it extends those entities out until it gets to the radius that it needs, and it will sort of patch that hole, if you will. Alright, now I'm not sure exactly what size I want these radii to be, so I'm going to actually select the preview, and you can drag and drop this to kind of eyeball what size you want things to be. So I want this maybe somewhere around here, and you notice that now I have actually the opposite problem. So now we see the radius cuts further into the segment than where that hole existed before. Now when we hit OK, you'll see that that actually isn't a problem, and the sketch fillet tool will accommodate for that. It will patch these back together and fix that up for us nicely. Alright, let's go back in. We'll add a couple of relations here just to keep everything happy. We'll actually move these radii onto their points up here. We'll make those right on center. Alright, now I've got this value here, but actually what I want is I have a little decal that needs to fit around the outside of this table, and it's got to fit, you know, nicely around this radius. So what I'll do is I'll actually put an arc radius, or an arc length rather, value on here, and we can do that directly with the Smart Dimension tool. So with the Smart Dimension tool selected, we can select both endpoints of the arc and the arc itself, and that will give us an arc length value that we can set and drive that dimension. Now I also have some constraints that wrap around here because I've got a piece of trim that I want to wrap around the whole outside of this, and that can be done very simply as well. If we use the drop down from the dimensioning tools, you'll find in here a path length dimension. Now what we can do is I'll just right click and select chain to pick up all of those entities together. We'll say OK, and that gives me a driving value for the outside whole loop. I'll set that to the value that I have constrained by my piece of trim, and you can see that that drives the length of the whole chain. From here we'll say OK. We'll go ahead and we'll make the top from this, so we'll extrude this up, say by another 2 inches maybe, and you notice again the merge result checkbox is unchecked, again because I already have this as a weldment. Okay, so we've kind of got this roughed in, and at this point I want to go ahead and work on the stand. So I will hide this. Remember in 2016 we can use tab to show or hide bodies, which is extraordinarily convenient. Now I want this to be a tube frame or square tube or something like that, and sometimes creating a 3D sketch can be awfully difficult when you're trying to generate weldment. And in this case, I already know kind of the rough shape of it. I just need to turn this shape into a weldment. So what we can do is we can use this shape to get us more quickly into a 3D sketch. So what I'll do is I'll select one of these edges and hit Control A. And by hitting Control A, that's select all, I've kind of pre-specified what I want to actually select. So by clicking that first, then clicking Control A, we can pick up all of the edges on this part. Now all we have to do, or in this body, excuse me, now all we have to do is come over, start a 3D sketch, do a Convert Entities, and we can see that that copies all of those edges into now usable bits of geometry. Okay, I'll use my D key to bring my confirmation corner to my mouse, and we'll accept. Now from here, I don't need this body anymore, so I can just delete this body. Again, I'll use my breadcrumbs, and we'll delete this from here. And very quickly we've entered into a 3D sketch. Now from here we can go over to Weldments. We can create a structural member out of these. Oops, I missed a couple. Okay, I'm not too concerned about how these are trimmed at the moment. We'll just say okay. That's a topic for another time. Hide that. All right, we'll bring back my tabletop. Shift tab. And we're moving along. Now if we're ready to start visualizing this, maybe we want to render this into a room or something like that, what I like to do is work with this with a camera view. Now the camera view is nice because we can kind of control the perspective, the angle, and all of that, but it's a little bit restricting because we can't work with the model and the camera view at the same time. The camera view is sort of locked in its orientation. So what I like to do is split my screens, and we can do that by going up to Window, Viewport, and set this to 2 view. Typically I go with 2 view vertical, so they're kind of side by side. Now what happens by default is you'll see that these two will move together, but we can unlink the two of these. We can do this right from right clicking, or we can go back up to Window, and now you'll see that these will move independent of each other. So now on this side, we can go back and move into our camera view, and on this side we can continue working with the model. Now in 2016 we have Breadcrumbs, so we don't even need to access the tree as much as we used to. We can actually hide this away and kind of really take advantage of the full real estate of your monitor. So let's go ahead and we will apply some materials here, or appearances. We've already got a wood open, so we'll grab this and we'll apply that to the body there, and we'll go find some metal. So we'll just apply that to the whole part. Now I can go ahead and I can render from this window and continue working from here. So what I like to do is just kind of turn on my render region maybe. That's actually about in the right spot. Something maybe so I can catch some of the different materials and just use an integrated preview with this pane. Okay, now we can see that update, and we can kind of keep an eye on what we're getting at, and we don't have to render the entire thing. Now we can make some changes. We can work with the model from over here. Say we want to add in a fillet. All right, and we'll see the effects of that in the render region over here. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed these tips and picked something up out of it. And in the coming weeks, we'll have more of the sessions from the other 5 presenters. Thanks.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and our blog for more great content by clicking on the links in the description below.